So in this week of sales that we're going to talk about, I did sell a decent number of stuff, but it seems like everything sold for so little, so my total was not super exciting. That's okay, let's talk about my sales. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller on a variety of reselling platforms, although this week Poshmark was definitely the star. And I'm going to share with you everything that sold for me in this particular week. I'm going to share with you where I picked up the items, how much I paid for them, how much net profit I made on each item, all that good stuff. So let's just jump right into it by talking about a really sad start to the week, which was Monday, April 17th. And on this day, I sold nothing. I sold 0 things, and it was not my only $0 sales day. So let's move on, because that's very depressing, to Tuesday, which was April 18th. This day was a little bit better. It started off with a sale on Poshmark of these Donald J. Pliner KCAE, I think that was the style name, leather strappy wedge sandals in a size 9M. These sold for $30, and I picked these up at a local consignment store back in, I don't remember when. I want to say like February, but that doesn't seem right at all. I think it was sometime last year. It was sometime when it was like still kind of like warm out. I want to say maybe like last October or September or something like that. And I had $2.52 into these. So I made a net profit of $21.48. They were listed for a decent amount of time. Donald J. Pliner is a great shoe brand. It retails for a ton. The construction is great on them. They sit for me though. They don't sell instantaneously. They're definitely one of those long tail brands, but if you have the space, they're a quality brand that people do end up purchasing. It just takes some time. The next thing to sell was this genuine merchandise MLB, which is Major League Baseball, right? I'm pretty sure that that's correct. Detroit Tigers button-up jersey in a size large. This sold for $15. I got this from a reseller who just had too much inventory on her hands, and so she sold me a pallet, or maybe it was like a half pallet of clothing from her inventory. It was about $3.92 per item, and she's from Michigan, so it makes sense that there was a lot of Michigan stuff in her inventory, including this Detroit Tigers jersey. This sold for $15. I made a net profit of $8.08. So this is where you can start to tell, like, I sold stuff on Poshmark, it just didn't sell for a ton. The next thing to sell was this pair of Liverpool, the ankle skinny jegging white pull-on skinny jeans in a size 0. This I got from that same reseller, so I had $3.92 into them. I sold them for $18. I believe there were some like stains and markings on them, so I ended up making a net profit of $10.48. Liverpool in general, I don't do super well with anyway. It's sold at places like Nordstrom Rack. I think it's also sold through Stitch Fix, which is like a subscription service. They send you a box of clothes every month or every 6 weeks, however often you ask to get it. It's an okay brand. I don't know that I have a pair of jeans by them. I think I've tried them on and they're fine. They make great denim. It's just not one of those brands that I feel like people are actively seeking out as often as other brands. So for me, it's not necessarily worth reselling, but they showed up at my house, so I just went ahead and listed them and made a little bit of money on them. On eBay, I sold this Mark Shale brown faux suede button-up shirt in a size large. I put the word Western in the title because I thought it kind of had a Western vibe to it. And I was shocked when this sold for my full asking price of $34.99. This was from that same reseller, so I had $3.92 into this. It was promoted at 3%, and I made a net profit of $25.99. I did not think that that would sell for as much as it did. I was fully expecting to, get an offer and to accept the offer, but it sold for my full asking price. I do believe that comps justified me listing it around that price, but I just didn't particularly like this. So I didn't really expect there to be anyone out there who'd be willing to pay $34.99 for this, but someone did, and I'm very thankful that they did. So whoever you are, thank you so much, and I hope you love the shirt. On Wednesday, which was April 19th, 0 sales. Nothing sold this day. So moving right along to Thursday, which was April 20th, I had 1 sale on Poshmark, and it was by the brand BKE. It was this athletic fit gray pearl snap button-up shirt in a men's size large. This again had like very Western vibes to it, and I put Western in the title. It also had piping, so it had like, I don't know, like a trim, but like a like a thicker trim of like a different fabric or ribbon or something like that. This sold for $15 and I've had this forever. I actually got this from a local reseller who decided not to resell anymore because of personal matters in her life. And so I bought all of her inventory off of her. I paid about $1.02 per item, which was a great cost of goods. So I made a net profit on this top of $10.98. I have been selling a lot more like Western style shirts lately, a lot more pearl snap button up shirts. I'm just not selling them for a lot. So for me, I don't necessarily consider this style to be a bolo style by any means because I'm not able to sell it for very much. That doesn't mean that there aren't great Western brands out there. That doesn't mean that you can't get more for this style of shirt, but I am having a hard time moving this style of clothes. I also don't particularly care for it, so it's definitely not something that I would personally pick up at a thrift store, but you do you. You do what you want to do. Now, on Friday, which was April 21st, I did the same thing that I had done the week prior, which was drop prices on any item on Poshmark that had likes on them by 30% to participate in closet clear out and also just to like try and make as many sales as possible. So I did that this Friday as well, which kind of meant that some things I believe maybe got dropped by an additional 30% from what they had been priced at the week prior, because I talked in last week's What Sold video about how I had such a hard time with figuring out how to get all of the prices back up to where I had them originally. I don't know, it was kind of a nightmare. And so, I don't know, some of these sold for super duper duper cheap, which is why I think my average sales price on Poshmark was as low as it was. So the first thing to sell on Poshmark was this pair of the North Face gray athletic drawstring cargo pants in a women's size 4. These sold for $14. I had $3.92 into them because they came from the reseller that I bought a pallet off of. So my profit on these pants was only $7.13, which isn't terrible given that the North Face, especially if it's just like pants or like a t-shirt or even a hoodie, it does not resell for a lot. The North Face is expensive retail, I feel like, but it's just not as desirable as other outdoor activewear brands like, Patagonia or Outdoor Research. The North Face just doesn't do as well, so I'm not super surprised. Plus, this was kind of an older style. It makes sense that the profit was as low as it was. The next item to sell was this Prana purple shelf bra sleeveless paisley dress in a size medium. I did put the word athleisure in the title as well. This sold for $16. I got it for $2.52 from that birthday sale at the consignment store. So I made a net profit of $10.28 on that. I had so much interest in that dress, but I think I had it priced at $35. Nobody wanted it for $35. So many people got like $28 offers on that or even $25 offers, but it wasn't until it dropped to $16 that someone was willing to buy this item. So just because an item has a ton of likes doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sell for that amount. It might mean that people like it, but they're just waiting for you to drop the price extremely low. The next thing to sell was kind of ridiculous. It was this, I don't know, I just called it Cat Shark Rainbow Galaxy Novelty Print Pre-Shrunk Hoodie in a size extra large. This thing was crazy. It was really fun, but like there was no brand to it. I couldn't even tell if it was men's or women's, so I purposefully was very vague, as far as the gender was concerned. Basically just tried to pass it off as unisex. It sold for $16. I got it from a different reseller who realized about a year into reselling that she hated selling clothes. So she sold me all of her clothes. I paid about $2 per item, and I made a net profit on that of $10.80. So I was actually pretty impressed that sold because, like I said, there was no brand. There was nothing to really give it an edge when it came to standing out online or making it searchable on Poshmark or eBay. But I think the graphic on the front is what sold it. I mean, it was pretty ridiculous. So very happy that sold and that I made $10.80 on that. The next item to sell was this Lacoste black polo shirt in a men's size medium. This was made of 100% cotton. I put the word preppy in the title. It sold for $16. I got it from a friend of mine who gave me all of his clothes that he no longer wore before he moved to the suburbs of Chicago. So I had about $2 into each item, and I made a net profit of $10.80. This sale hurt a little because probably the week before I had gotten an offer on this again, I think I probably had this priced at like $35. I think I got maybe like a $20 or $25 offer. And at the time I had countered because I thought that was too low, especially because I had just listed it. They did not accept my counter, and so I ended up selling it for less. Now, I didn't know at the time that I got that offer that I would be dropping prices by 30%, but that's the risk that you take when you counter, is that they're not going to accept it and that it's going to end up selling for far less later when you're running a sale, or because you're just desperate to get rid of it because now you've had it for like 2 years, So that's not me saying you should just accept any offer when you get it, but if it's reasonable, if you're going to make money, if you haven't had sales in a while and you're kind of desperate to move stuff, I don't know, sometimes it's better to just accept the offer, is what I've learned. The next thing to sell was this pair of vintage LL Bean relaxed fit jeans in a men's size 35 by 30. These, I believe I had listed for $35, or maybe it was $4, I'm not quite sure, but these sold for $19. I picked them up at a local consignment store for $5.06. That was my cost of goods that particular day. And I believe I picked up like 2 or 3 identical pairs of jeans by LL Bean of this particular style, the relaxed fit jeans. I think I sold maybe one of them and I still have a pair. These are not hot sellers. These are long tail items as well. This is not something that a lot of people out there are looking for. I do firmly believe that everything will sell eventually, but if you do not have the luxury of space and you don't want to keep things stored for a long time, this is not the kind of thing that you want to pick up. So I made a net profit of $10.14. I will not be picking up this style of jeans by this brand again in the future. The next thing to sell was a bundle of 3 items. I believe somebody put them in a bundle, sent me an offer, and I accepted, and happily, because especially one of these items I had for so very long. But the first item in this bundle was a pair of silver Suki mid-rise capri jeans in a white color. They were in a size 27. They had like a crochet lace trim. I got these at a local thrift store for $3.99. The silver Suki jeans are like bread and butter to me. They will consistently sell typically in that $25 to $35 range, and to pick them up for $3.99 was kind of a no-brainer. Now, these being white, and I think maybe there were a few flaws, like some stains or something on them, they did sit for quite some time, which is why I was happy to move them in this bundle. The next thing to sell was this pair of vintage Talbot's fish print cropped pants in a size 8 petite. These I've had for a very long time. We're talking at least 2.5, 3 years at this point. I only had 80 cents into them because I got them in the height of COVID when everyone was on lockdown. I got these at a local consignment store. I reached out to them and I said, listen, like, you're hurting because you are not allowed to open your doors, and I'm hurting because I don't know how to find inventory. Can I come to your store by myself and you can just open the doors for me or something? And they were like, we'll do you one better. All of our stuff that we were going to have in our big birthday sale is in our like storage unit, essentially. It was like a little warehouse, and they were like, we'll just let you in there by yourself and you just kind of bring everything that you decided to purchase to the store when you're done, and we'll count up how many bags you have. Each bag will be $50. So that's what we did. I shopped there like 6 or 7 times by myself, got so much stuff, and there are a handful of pieces that I still have with me to this day because I was just honestly kind of like shoving anything and everything into these bags, but this was one of them. I had 80 cents into them. They finally sold. I'm so thankful. The next and last thing to sell in this bundle was this pair of Travelers by Chico's black and white geometric pull-on pants in a size 4. They were cropped and they were from a local consignment store, and I only had $1 into them because I got them on like super clearance. Like they had like $1 tag sale or something. So this bundle sold for $33, which is $11 per item. I had $5.79 into those 3 pieces. So my net profit on those 3 items was $20.61. That's less than $10 net profit per item, but I was just extremely excited about just moving those pieces, especially those vintage Talbot's pants, because I had just had them for so long. So I just needed to move them, get them out of my house. And I'm really happy that this person happened to pick up a lot of my older pieces. The The next thing to sell was this Eileen Fisher sleek tencel and wool blend short sleeve shirt in a size small petite. This is another item that I had for a very long time in my inventory. It sold for $19 and I had picked it up originally from a local consignment store for $5. So my net profit was only $10.20. Eileen Fisher is a great brand, but like this was a basic t-shirt essentially, so I'm not surprised that it sold for as little as it did. Just because it's a good brand doesn't mean that it's going to sell for a ton of money. That's definitely a lesson that I have learned in my years of reselling, but I picked this up a long time ago and I'm still paying for not knowing that much back in the day. The next thing to sell was this pair of Umbro Girls Cleat 17 pink lace-up soccer shoes in a size youth 13. These I got from someone who used to go to my church. She did a little reselling while she was in high school, but she recently finished up her freshman year of college. And before she went to school, she gave me all of her inventory that she had, kind of stockpiled. She didn't want to take them with her to her little tiny college dorm, which I fully understand. So I have been listing her things, and these sold for $9, but they sold probably within like 4 days of being listed, and I didn't have them priced very high to begin with. So, when I dropped the price by 30%, someone rightfully was very excited about that price drop. Got a heck of a deal, getting these cleats for $9. So I made a net profit of $6.05. And then on eBay, I sold this new with tags Nip Tuck Swim black and white halter neck one-piece swimsuit in a women's size 8. This sold for $25. It was promoted at 3%. I had $3.92 into that from the reseller who sold me a pallet of her clothing, and so I made a net profit of $15.91. Nip Tuck is not like the greatest swimwear brand, but I get it. Like, it was April, people are looking for swimwear at that point, so I get why it sold when it did, and that's why I listed it, probably a little bit earlier that month. The next thing to sell was this new wireless Bluetooth pair of headphones. They were white. They had active noise canceling technology. They looked pretty cheap, I'm not gonna lie. I got these in an Amazon unboxing that I did for a company. They reached out and they were like, do you want to do an unboxing of some Amazon returns to promote their wholesale company? And I was like, sure. I'm just like not super good at hard goods, and so I let that box sit and sit before I got around to listing them because I just hate selling hard goods. I hate the process of learning about each item. Everything's so different from the last, and I don't know, there's just so much more to it, I feel like, than listing clothing. And I know some people feel the opposite, like people love selling hard goods, and when it comes to clothing, they feel like that's what slows them down. But for me, oh my goodness, like hard goods is so difficult. But I did finally get around to listing these. There was no brand name on them. They were made in like China or something. I think they're probably from like Alibaba or something like that. So not very high quality, but they sold for $17.99, and I made a net profit of $14.59. So it was a successful Poshmark sales day as far as number of sales, but as you saw, things were not selling for a whole lot. I only sold 2 items on eBay, but those items gave me pretty solid net profit. So while I had decent luck dropping prices by 30% on Poshmark on everything that had a like, I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't think that it's worth it. And like I explained in the last What Sold video, it's too much of a headache to raise those prices back up. So personally, I'm probably going to stick to my typical closet clear out method, which I explain in this video right here. I don't think I'm going to just drop prices by 30% anymore in the future. On Saturday, which was April 22nd, I sold this pair of Merrell Putty Sage Green Gray. I don't know, like how is something green or gray? But these really were that color. They were these lace-up sneakers in a size 6.5. These sold for $15. I had $9.96 into these. Now, that is my average cost of goods from a pop-up consignment sale that I love to shop. So I know I did not actually have $9.96 into this particular pair of shoes. I would never pay that much for a pair of Merrell shoes. I probably only had like $3 or $4 into them, but because we're going off of average cost of goods, we were saying that my net profit was $2.04, which is enough to get you like a small fries or something like that at McDonald's. And then finally on Sunday, which is the last sales day that we'll talk about, this was April 23rd, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Tom's Ash Gray Canvas Espadrille open toe platform wedges, or like sandals in a women's size 9. These sold for $25. I've had these listed for a long time. I got these, I want to say last year at some point, in a ThredUp shoe rescue box. So my average cost of goods per pair of shoes from that particular box was $5. And so I made a net profit of $15. I typically don't purchase Toms to resell. I just feel like they tend to sit for me. They don't usually sell for a ton. I feel like their wedges, like their suede wedges, can do okay, but again, I tend to sit on them for a while, and I don't know, something about them, I just don't really enjoy selling them, so I typically leave them behind. But these showed up at my house in a ThredUp rescue box, so I just went ahead and listed them and made a little bit of money off of them. The next thing to sell was this Madewell blue and white striped flare sleeve button-up shirt in a size small. This came to me in that palette of clothing, so I sold it for $12. I had $3.92 into it, and I made a net profit of $5.13. I actually feel like that was just an outright sale that was made because of the fact that, I had dropped prices by 30%. This never went up to the original price, so that's what it sold for, and that's fine. The next thing to sell was on eBay. It was this pair of Clarks. They were these black suede ankle booties in a size 8M. They had an ankle zip, and I had these for so long. I have had these for years, probably 3 years. So I got a $20 offer on them. I was so excited. I was just so happy to get rid of these. They were promoted at 3%. I had $6 into them from a local Goodwill. I made a net profit of $9.02. Clark's is actually a really great shoe brand to resell. I feel like it's a great bread and butter brand. This pair of boots, however, just sat and sat. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted to buy them from me. I'm so thankful that I finally got rid of them. And then the last sale of the week that I will talk about was over on Mercari. It was this Goodfellow & Co. blue and white striped dog print button-down shirt in a size medium. I got this from the high school student who was a reseller, and it sold for $15, and so my net profit was $12.42. Goodfellow & Co. is a Target brand, and some of their stuff can actually do okay. It's a men's Target brand. I mean, when I say that it can do okay, I'm not talking about, $100 or something, but I've sold Goodfellow & Co. pieces for $25 or more. It just depends on what it is. Obviously, like jackets and stuff are going to do a lot better. This simple button-up shirt, it's not going to go for a ton because it didn't even retail for that much to begin with, but they make cute pieces. They're always very trendy. They're always, very current, but, it's fast fashion. It's not made of like the greatest material. So they retail for a reasonable amount, and then resale value is a little bit lower. And so, the pieces move, and when I'm getting them for free, I'll go ahead and list them. I'm just not going to pick up pieces by that brand at the thrift store. So my numbers for the week were not amazing, but let's go through them. On Poshmark, I sold 17 items for a gross sales amount of $272. Once you factor in all of Poshmark's fees, I don't think I offered any discounted shipping, so really just the fees. That total drops to $215.75. My cost of goods for those 17 items was $56.55. A lot of those items came from the reseller who sold me like a pallet of clothing, and my cost of goods for those items was a little higher, $3.92. So my net profit for the week on Poshmark was $159.20. On eBay, I sold 4 items for a gross sales amount of $97.98, and once you factor in eBay's fees, that total drops to $79.35. My cost of goods for those 4 items was $13.84. I made a net profit of $65.51 on eBay. And then I had one Mercari sale for $15. That was my gross sales amount. Once you factor in Mercari's fees, that total drops to $12.42. I had $0 cost of goods because it came from someone who just gave it to me, and so I made a net profit of $12.42. So in total, I sold 22 items for a gross sales amount of $384.98. My profit, once you factor in shipping and fees, dropped to $307.52. My cost of goods was $70.39. And so my net profit for the week was $237.13, which just feels so sad. But, you know, it is what it is. It was just not the greatest sales week, and I feel like things are only getting worse. Some people say summer slowdown isn't real. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like it's much worse for me than what it was in April and March. And in fact, maybe I'm even doing a little bit better, but that's also because I'm finally done with school. It's summer break, so I'm able to list more. And so I think that's kind of making up for the fact that maybe sales are a little bit slower, but I'm listing a little bit more. So, you know, it all kind of evens out. But if you want to see how sales are for me in the summer, then definitely hit that subscribe button, because I do a video like this every single week. I promise I'm slowly getting caught up. I know I'm still very behind, but I am getting caught up in my what sold videos. And if you enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that like button, because it does help YouTube understand that this is a video that should be suggested to other people who are looking for similar content. So thank you so much for your support, for watching, for liking, for commenting, for all of the things. I appreciate you so much. And I hope that you are able to move stuff, that you're making great sales, and that you're enjoying your summer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.